Thank you all for being here, and I want to thank all the multiple organizations who helped organize this event. My name is Kenneth Boyd. I'm running for Denver District Attorney because I love this city. I grew up here. My wife and I are raising our two boys here in Northwest Denver. Simply put, Denver is my home. This race is about the future of public safety in Denver. This race is about 6,000 felonies that are filed in the city and county of Denver. This race is about 13,000 misdemeanors that are filed every year in the Denver District Attorney's Office. A quarter of the violent crime that occurs in all of Colorado occurs in the city and county of Denver. We want to talk about our young African American men in this community. This race is about the dual frustration of law enforcement. The biggest challenge for the next Denver District Attorney is understanding that we all want to see the bullets stop flying in Parkland. And yet, we all know that that comes at a real cost to our young people. The cost that they too will get swept up in the criminal justice system. And finding the right balance is the key to being the next Denver District Attorney. Understanding that issue and finding the balance going forward. And here's what I'm going to do. On the first day, I'm going to begin to institute a public fact-finding review in cases where we do not file charges in a police fatality. I want to talk about Michael Marshall. My administration will have a public fact-finding review if we don't file charges in that case. We want to open up transparency and bring that transparency to our community. I'm going to work every day to work at this issue to solve this growing tension between our community and law enforcement. I want to bring back our community prosecution program that Bill Ritter had during his term. And I want to also talk about mental health. It's one of the #1 drivers of the criminal justice system. It's one of the #1 drivers to substance abuse, to alcoholism, and all of the criminality that comes from addiction to drugs and alcohol. It is the future of the criminal justice system. The better that we understand it, the better we can move forward and move our office forward. Like I said, this is about the future of public safety in our city. Thank you all for having me here. I'm looking forward to a great discussion.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is wonderful to be back here among friends and family of Shorter AME. And it's wonderful these terrific community organizations that have come together to bring you all in this room to talk about the vital changes that have to happen here in Denver. My name is Michael Carey, and I'm running for district attorney because things have to change. Things have to change, but we in America are locking up more of our citizens than any other country. Things have to change when communities of color, Latinos, and African Americans are vastly overrepresented in our prison system. Things have to change when communities of color make up less than half of our city population, but 80% of our homicides. Things have to change. And they need to start with the change in the Denver District Attorney's Office. We need someone with a passion, with a vision, and with a plan to bring about those changes. Plans to make sure we end the school to jail pipeline. Plans to make sure that those who deserve a second chance get a second chance. A plan to make sure that our prison and jail beds are reserved for those who are truly a threat to our public safety, and not because they can't make a $500 bond or a $1,000 bond. That has to change. We need a DA who will work day and night to rebuild the trust between law enforcement and our community public. A DA who will stand up and when the charge is there, prosecute those officers who violate your trust by using excessive force. We need a DA who will courageously take that on. And we need a DA who will make the example by leading criminal justice reform in a very symbolic and vital way. And that is, we need a DA, and I'm the only one making never seek the death penalty in your name. Time for Denver to join the 21st century and be a national leader in criminal justice reform, and with your help, I will be that DA. Thank you.
I'm going to come over here. We've got this side. Good morning, everyone. My name is Beth Capan, and I'm also a candidate for Denver District Attorney. And I first want to start by thanking all of you for coming out on a beautiful Saturday and spending your time with us. This is an incredibly important position, and I appreciate your being here. I also want to thank Pastor Tyler and the entire staff at AME Shorter. This is my house district. I've been here many times, and I really think the work they do is fantastic. So, thank you again. So, I believe that it is time for a new direction for the Denver DA's office, and I am uniquely qualified to lead the office forward. I have prosecuted the law, I have supervised lawyers, and now I've named the law. There is no one else in the race that can say that. We want and deserve fairness and justice in our criminal justice system. People tell me, you know what, it's too entrenched, Beth. It's too complicated, there are too many pieces to it, you can't change it. Well, I don't buy that. I took on the NRA down at the state capitol when I was the prime sponsor of some of our gun safety laws that we passed a couple years ago, making us a leader in gun safety. I also took on the big banks when I was able to get, it took 3 years, but I didn't give up, I'm very persistent. Took on the big banks to get some fairness in the system when people were facing the loss of their homes through foreclosure. I also took on the district attorneys statewide when I passed a bill to provide due process to kids who are facing charges as adults in our criminal justice system. I don't back down from a tough fight. So what do I want to do in the DA's office? First and foremost, we must rebuild the trust between our law enforcement community and our community at large. We've got to increase the communication and the cooperation and the trust. Second, I really want to improve our juvenile justice system. We're putting too many kids in jail. We need to be providing alternatives for them so that they make better choices. That's something I've been working on throughout my career. And third, mass incarceration. We have to address this, particularly as it impacts people of color. Fourth, I want my deputies out in the community. I want them listening to you, talking to you, just as I do as a state representative. And finally, I will prioritize crimes that threaten our families. Human trafficking, child abuse, domestic violence, sex assault, crimes against the elderly and the disabled. It's a big charge, but with your support and your help, I will be the Denver DA that stands for justice and equality for all. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. And I echo the sentiments of my fellow candidates when I say thank you so much for hosting us today. It's a unique opportunity for me, as having been a Denver District Attorney for 22 years in the office, to introduce myself to a broader audience. My name is Helen Morgan, and I am running as an independent for the office of District Attorney because I don't think politics should have anything to do with the chief law enforcement officer in Denver. We should be beholden to our community and to the right decisions, and not the politicians. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and what I have done, and as it reflects, then, what I will do. As I said, I have been in the Denver District Attorney's Office for 22 years in 2 weeks' time, on February 22nd. I currently run our County Court Division, which has 12,000 cases a year, and I supervise 12 deputies, as well as a 13th who works in our sobriety court. We have a staff of approximately 50 people. One of the things that I realized when I went to county court is that we make assumptions about who should be in the criminal justice system. And one of the biggest assumptions that we make that we need to change is those who are currently there need to stay there. In county report we have 5,000 driving under suspension cases a year. Why criminalize people who can't pay their fines by taking their driver's licenses away? That makes no sense. What makes sense is for us to enable people to get a driver's license so they can drive to work, take their kids to school, and be productive members of society. And that's what I'm working on doing. Also, when I took as Denver District Attorney, I spent 5 years prosecuting a white supremacist prison gang. Those two people who are on the loose are particularly personal to me because I prosecuted one of them. I know the effect of racism in our society. I understand the evil that is within some. And I will walk with you in your community to make Denver a place where everybody is equally respected and cared for and heard. We talk about overrepresentation of our young youth in the criminal justice system. I also want to talk about the overrepresentation women and other people of color as victims. In our domestic violence society, in our domestic violence cases, over and over and over again, we fail people who need us at the most important time of their life. I look forward to introducing myself to you this afternoon, and I am now going to stop.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Our first topic area will be the mission of the District Attorney's Office. And we're going to talk about mission to sort of lay a framework of purpose and for the debate, as well as the question and answers that are coming in. So we're going to start out with, are you all familiar with the mission statement of the District Attorneys? I'm not going to ask you to recite it. But Pastor Tyler is going to read the mission statement of the District Attorney's Office, and he's going to come with a question, of which we'll give each one of you 2 minutes to respond, and then we will take questions from the audience just on this topic. And so, Pastor Tyler.